Hello again, my little conscripts, and welcome to another Mordian Glory video. In today's episode, we shall be casting our ever-critical eyes over another Imperial Guard 10th edition Codex datasheet. And this time, we are going to be deep diving what might be one of the most popular Guard tanks right now. It's big, it's chunky, and it's bristling with firepower. It is the Rogal Dorn battle tank. And so, without further ado, let's not mess around today. Let's mount up, roll out, and drive right into this thing. Also, I want to do a shout out. I was recently very kindly sent a t-shirt. I want to say a big thank you to Militarum Murphy for sending me this very cool Imperial Guard t-shirt. Imperial armor, dread the tread. It's got a Leman Russ like battle tank on the front, and then on the back, it's got all of the other ones. I have actually been wearing this for a little while now, and this is no bullshit. It's very comfy. I actually I was wearing it to Manchester GT this weekend. I'm going to put a link down in the description below, and I highly recommend you guys check them out. As is tradition, let us begin with a cheeky gander at the stat line. Starting off, we have a movement of 10, which is actually a pleasant surprise. Often I sort of just breeze past movement 10, saying it's normal in the Guard motor pool. But with bigger units like this, often GW does like to make them move a bit slower. But seeing them be able to keep pace with the rest of the Guard motor pool is actually pretty good. Defensively, we have got a toughness of 12, a 2+ save, and 18 wounds. Whoa. That's a great profile right there. That is going to take a hell of a beating. T12 is a really good breakpoint, because one of the most common anti-tank weapons in the game is the las cannon / las cannon equivalent. Something that is strength 12, AP -3, damage D6 +1 or D6 +2. A lot of the time, these weapons are wounding vehicles on 3s, because most vehicles are toughness 11 and below. That gives them a certain degree of reliability. The Rogal Dorn being T12 is a great breakpoint, because it means that all of those go-to normally very comfy anti-tank weapons that your opponent can rely upon, suddenly it's a 4+. And we've all been there. Rolling that 4+ to wound, oh, god damn it. It's a 1 to 3. Happens more often than you think. I remember playing against Harlequins a lot, and this was in previous editions, but the same principle applied. And they ran around with a bunch of strength 8 melter pistols, and they used to wound Leman Russes on 4s. And the number of times when I had 4 Harlequin melter pistols come in and just bounce off a tank because they just didn't get the 4+ that they expected, it became something that I could rely upon. That swingy nature of the 4+. So T12 is a big deal. It's being wounded on a 4+ rather than a 3+ is very important. And the best bit is, even if someone does get on the right side of their 4+ to wound, you've got a 2+ save, which, with the benefit of cover against something that's AP -3, means that you're going to have a 4+ save. So you might get on the right side of a 4+. And even if they do get through, you've got 18 wounds, which means it takes loads of las cannon shots to actually bring you down. And as we'll see later on, you've got an ability which makes it even harder for it to die. Main thing you want to take away from, I'd say, this whole video is the Rogal Dorn is a tanky tank. It takes a lot of damage to bring one down. And very rarely have I ever had someone take one out in one phase. I've had them go down in one turn. If someone's been able to shoot the crap out of it and then charge it up, it'll go down. But if someone only shoots it, or if someone only charges it, typically, it'll survive. And if it does, it can bring a lot of firepower to bear. But before we get to that firepower, we have to round out the stat line. We've got leadership of 7+, which is decent. OC5 is big. So big. OC5 is a really good breakpoint for objective control, because a lot of elite units out there are 5-man strong, 1 OC per man for 5. So it means that the Rogal Dorn can, just by tipping a tippy toe of its track onto objective, can often match OC for a lot of enemy units. And if you give it duty and honor, it'll actually be OC 6. And that means it will actually beat enemy units on OC, which is important when it comes to scoring primary points and also doing secondaries. Now, with all of that said, let's get to the guns, because the Rogal Dorn has a lot of them. Its basic loadout consists of a castigated Gatling cannon, a heavy stubber, a twin battle cannon, and armored tracks. For its weapon options, you can replace the twin battle cannon with an oppressor cannon and a coaxial autocannon. You can replace the castigated Gatling cannon with a pulverizer cannon, and you can, in addition, so this is all for free, you don't have to swap anything out, you can have 2 melter guns or 2 more heavy stubbers, and you can have 2 heavy bolters or 2 multi-melters. Now, I appreciate that that is a lot of different weapons to pick from. So let's have a quick look at all of them and go through their pros and cons. Now, a heads up, we are going to be jumping around this list a bit because GW has ordered them in alphabetical order. What I want to do is go through and compare them peer to peer, as it were, compare the different options. So for the main weapon, you start off with that twin battle cannon. It's blast, twin linked, 48-inch range, d6 plus 3 shots, ballistic skill 4+, strength 10, AP -1, damage 3. This is a totally okay profile. Twin linked means that even though you're only strength 10, you do get full rerolls to wound. Meaning that even if you're wounding a lot of things on 5s, with full rerolls, it actually becomes a very decent chance. Flat damage 3 means you're going to tear chunks out of infantry and vehicles alike. D6 plus 3 shots gives you a very reliable number of shots. Blast means it could exponentially get higher if you're shooting against big hordes. The only problem with the twin battle cannon, but it is a very big problem, it's AP -1. I said earlier that this is 10th edition. You're going to have the benefit of cover, right? That cuts both ways. AP -1 isn't enough. Not on a main weapon. On accoutrement, on supporting firepower, yeah, of course, it's fine. It's secondary firepower. But on a main gun that's going to be doing the heavy lifting on a vehicle, you need more AP than that. There are ways of boosting its AP, though. You do have an Exterminator, Leave and Rust, that can boost the AP. You have Hellhounds, which can remove cover from enemy units. You've also got various attachments. Siege attachment with incendiary shells could remove cover, meaning the AP1 wouldn't be so bad. And then you've also got the Fields of Fire stratagem in the combined arms attachment that would help you boost the AP. The issue is that you're going to spend a fair few points trying to get past AP -1, and you could just go for the other gun, the Oppressor Cannon. The Oppressor Cannon is blast. It's not twin linked, but it is blast. It's got a longer range, although to be fair, that doesn't really matter. 48 inches is pretty much enough. It's got the same number of shots, same ballistic skill, same damage. The big difference is that it's strength 12. This means that it actually wounds most vehicles on 3s. Fishing for 5s with rerolls statistically gives you good odds, but we've all been there where you just don't get the rerolls. You know, the rerolls don't convert. Yeah. I've rolled many 5s with rerolls and ended up with still no wounds. Wounding most vehicles on 3s, wounding pretty much every infantry in the game on 2s. That's just base more reliable. And then you've got AP -2 inbuilt. So you don't need to have a Hellhound or a specific detachment and an Exterminator to back you up. You probably still want some support. I have used the Oppressor Cannon and found AP -2 is good but not great. You'll probably find that out of the options of Fields of Fire, Incendiary Shells, a Hellhound, or an Exterminator, you'll want one of those to get you up a bit of AP or reducing the enemy's cover. But you won't need 2 to 3 of them combined to achieve the same result. As a result, when looking at the Twin Battle Cannon versus the Oppressor Cannon, I would go for the Oppressor Cannon in the vast majority of cases. But I am avoiding saying every time. I do think if you were already going for siege attachment and you were already thinking of including things like Exterminators and Hellhounds in your army, or you were already going for like combined arms, you could make the Twin Battle Cannon work. It just takes more work. Get it to work. Moving on to the next weapon, we start off with the Castigated Gatling Cannon. 24 inch range, 12 shots, ballistic skill 4+, strength 5, AP 0, damage 1. This is okay as an anti-horde weapon, but right now we're not really in the era of hordes. We're kind of in the era of elite infantry. Even infantry like Eldar, who have typically got like a 3-up or 4-up save, don't really fear the Castigator Gatling Cannon. Even though you'll be wounding them on 3s, they're going to be on a 3-up save. Because either a 4-up save with cover, which is a 3-up save, or they're on just a 3-up save. AP 0 is a bit trash. Comparing that to the Pulverizer cannons, that's the two weapons you choose between the Castigator and the Pulverizer. Yes, it's a lot swingier with blasts, with D6 shots, but you've got blast, so it's not as swingy as it looks. And it's strength 9, and it's AP 3. So it's bringing all the AP. This isn't any support, and it's flat damage 3. So this is only good against very, very light infantry. This is good against hordes because of blast, and it's good against elite infantry because of AP and flat damage 3. And even though it's winning on 5s against vehicles, if you do slip a wound pass, it is a big chunk of damage. As a result, I would always pick the Pulverizer Cannon over the Castigator Gatling Cannon. Next, we've got the Multi-Melters versus the Heavy Bolters. A lot of people will tell you to just automatically go for the Multi-Melters because they've got the better strength, the AP, and the damage. And I used to think that as well. But recently, I'm going to say something controversial, and a lot of people are going to think I'm an idiot and that I'm wrong. But recently, I've gone back to Heavy Bolters, and I've found them better. It's the range. I find my multi-melters just are never in range. I can't get them into range of the target that I want them to be in range of. Sometimes they'll be in range, but it's just against something that they can't really hurt because it's a vehicle, so the strength 9 I just don't get the bloody 5s. And sometimes it'll be I'm in range of some like crappy infantry, and I'm just not really getting the benefit of the multi-melter. And sometimes I'll just not be in range of anything meaningful in any way, shape, or form. And I've gone game after game where I've got to find my multi-melters maybe once. And you might say, well, you need to be more aggressive with your multi-melters than Mordian. But here's the thing. Remember what I said earlier? The Dorn can survive pretty much one phase of anything, but it can't survive getting double teamed in shooting and in melee. So you get very bullish with your Rogal Dorns, and then you fire the multi-melters once, maybe twice, but typically once, and then you lose your bloody Dorn. So I'm struggling with the multi-melters recently. And what's crazy is I've been talking to a few other guard players out there. I want to do a big shout out to my man Star Captain 007, a good mate in real life and a solid member of the Mordian Glory live stream community as well. He's even done a few battle reports with me. And he has been putting multi-melters on his Dorns. And he's gone back to heavy bolters as well. He said, I just need that range. And what's interesting is we were both putting multi-melters on our Lehman Russes as well. And we've both gone back to plasma cannons. The truth is that if you could put plasma cannons on Dorns, that would be the best option. That would be the best option because you have the range and the AP and enough damage. But as it is, I am finding, and a few of the guard players are starting to find that range of the heavy bolter is deceptively important. So what I would say is between these two is it kind of comes down to personal preference and playstyle. Are you being very aggressive with your Rogal Dorns? Are you willing to accept that they're very tanky, but they'll probably die? Go multi-melters. If you're like me and you prefer to be aggressive with other units and have your Dorns be more of a longer ranged fire support unit, I think you're better off going with heavy bolters. So it's not a case of I would say one is better than the other. I would say it comes down to playstyle and have a good look inside and ask yourself, how are you going to be using that Dorn? You can basically apply the same logic to the heavy stubbers versus the melter guns as well. Melter guns are incredibly short ranged, but if you're going to be super duper aggressive and bullish with them, you might as well put melter guns on. Otherwise, I think heavy stubbers are probably the go-to. I know I've thrown a lot of information at you guys there, and we've been bouncing all around this list. So to summarize it, my go-to loadout for a Rogal Dorn for a take-all-comers list is a presser cannon with the coaxial autocannon, the pulverizer cannon, heavy bolters, and 3 heavy stubbers. Moving on from the weapons, we have got the Rogal Dorn's abilities. Now, the first thing to note is that this is a deadly demise D6 vehicle. That means when it dies, you roll a dice, and on a 6+, it will explode and do D6 mortal wounds to all units, friend and foe, within 6 inches. Now, a lot of vehicles which are a bit smaller than the Dorn, only do D3. But D6 is actually quite a lot. If a Dorn goes up, it can be a hell of a deadly demise. Sometimes that'll screw your opponent over. Sometimes it'll go up in the middle of your armor pool. And you'll wish you'd brought a Tech Priest. The unique datasheet ability of the Dorn is Ablative Plating. Once per battle, when an attack is allocated to this model, you can change the damage characteristic of that attack to 0. This is really good. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it's really good. Remember, the point of the Dorn is that it's quite a tanky tank. So anything that can boost its tankiness is great. Generally, the Dorn will be able to weather firepower from most heavy weapons. Even things that do flat damage 3, because you've got like 18 wounds. You can weather most stuff just on the fact that you're T12 with a 2+ save and benefit of cover. But occasionally something absolutely massive is going to come your way. Maybe it's a volcano lands from a big knight. Maybe it's some sort of crazy like damage 6 plus D6 weapon. But maybe it's just a las cannon. Maybe it's just, or maybe it's a melter gun. However you slice it, sometimes something big's going to come your way, and just being able to go, no, that attack, 0 damage. Now, it's important to understand the sequencing and when this happens. Your opponent rolls to hit with their attacks. They roll to wound with their attacks. Before you make your saves, you get to choose which one's going to go to 0. So you don't get to roll your saves first, and then if you fail it, go, okay, well, I'm going to blank it. So to take you through the sequence of events, you would go, let's say you get hit by a las cannon. It hits you, it wounds you. Before you roll your save, you would have to blank the damage. Before you know whether you've passed your save or not. So there is a little bit of a, ooh, do you risk it for a biscuit and just let it through and hope, don't blank it and hope that you make your 4 up? Or do you go, that's just too powerful, bang, blank. Also, it is only once per battle. It's not once per turn. So you do this once and then it's gone for the rest of the game. So it's important to know when to use this. Honestly, if you're not sure, just use it against the first big D6 damage attack that's going to kill you. Or even if it's a little damage attack, if that's just going to end up finishing you off. Now, that just about covers all of the main bits with the Dorn. But I just want to add an extra little commentary regarding its role on the battlefield. It's easy to look at the number of guns this thing has got and presume that its main job is to do damage. The reality of the situation is that its main job is to take damage, not do damage. Don't get me wrong, it can do damage. But if you look at these weapons again, you'll notice that only one of them is above strength 10. Only one of them is what I would class as strong enough to count as anti-tank. And even then, it's not got inbuilt enough AP to really carry it across the line. You'll find that Rogal Dorns, if you try and shoot enemy big monsters and vehicles with them, struggle to deliver the killing blow on their own. Typically, you'll have to fire a Dorn at them and then 1 or 2 other units. And a lot of people, because of the size of this vehicle, because of the amount of guns, that can catch them off guard. They can think, oh, my Dorn will sweep all before it. It won't. It's basically got the firepower of a Lehman Russ. It might not look like it, but it basically has the firepower of a Lehman Russ. Because the Lehman Russ is going to have a main gun. Like if it's got a Vanquish cannon, it's going to have a big main gun. And then it's going to have a las cannon. And then it's going to have a hunter killer missile. This doesn't have a las cannon. It doesn't have a hunter killer missile. And then in terms of all the accoutrement, all the spare firepower, well, that's just supplementary sort of chip damage, essentially. So it has the firepower of a Leman Russ. Maybe I'm oversimplifying, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but basically it's got the same damage dealing capabilities as a Russ, but it costs a lot more. So you have to realize what its main purpose is to take damage. It is way tougher than a Russ. It's got that important T12 breakpoint. It's got more wounds than a Russ. It can blank damage. So if you want to get the most out of Rogal Dorn, you want to think about it as a damage taker first and a damage dealer second. Leaning into that, it is a very, very good idea. Not needed, but a very good idea to take a Tech Priest with a Rogal Dorn. Because Tech Priest can give it a 4+ vulnerable save, which will then protect it against those even higher AP weapons, AP -4. And anything that does get through, the Tech Priest can heal D3 wounds a turn on this thing, which is an average of 2 wounds a turn. Which just makes the Rogal Dorn so damn hard to kill. And so that I think is a really good combo. And that is how I naturally see the Dorn. It drives forward, the enemy, you screen it out, the enemy shoots the crap out of it, it takes those shots, it heals up a little bit, and then it punches back. This tank embodies the motto of the Guard. We get hit hard, but we hit back even harder. Well, at least that's what I think. But of course, all of this is just like my opinion, man. Let me know what you think down in the comments section below. Do you think the Dorn is a good vehicle? How do you think it stacks up against the Leman Russ? And what do you think about the Dorn versus the Dorn Commander? One has got a few rerolls. This one can take a lot more damage. As always, don't forget to go ahead and like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to never miss an episode. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian glory hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing. Truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full-time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Alex Dengal, Bonbon Vert, Lord Pryor, Mark Panconi, RJ Scorpion, Swordfish Trombone, Try Again Bragg, John Stubbs, Nick Walsh, Diesel Fox, and August Barney. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.